this is your opportunity now, because it's very important. You know, you have 3 TAPA members on stage. With Felipe, actually, it's 4 TAPA members. You have the actual board member, a treasurer, and a TAPA member. You have the former treasurer, now our chief compliance and financial officer, also a former TAPA member. You know, and last but not least, if you don't raise questions, I will ask questions to you. Because I will now leave the stage and I will run through you. Okay, so just to give you a warning. Okay, so Felipe will run it right now. He will start and I will come to you. You have microphones there. Please switch it on. And then please give a very short intro, you know, on who you are, what's your name, and that's it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Ladies first.
Alida van Zyl, I'm from DHL Express.
Bjorn Hartong, you've already seen me, so.
You've heard a lot of me today. Nico, Harmse, I'm from Bidvest International Logistics.
Hi there, good afternoon everybody. My name is Alboom. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for TAPA EMEA. And before that I had a very long career in logistics.
And by the way, he's paying for the drinks, okay? Big applause for Up. So he's paying the drinks.
Everything on behalf of the members.
Yeah, of course.
And Filipe Almeida, Rangel Logistics. So, questions for, this is your opportunity, guys. Thorsten wasn't lying, okay? This happens, either you ask questions or questions will be asked to the audience. So please, enjoy your opportunity.
Okay, do we have questions from the audience? Otherwise, I will ask the first question, okay? To make life easier. It's always an icebreaker, I know. How do you like the TAPA shoes? No, that's not the first question. You know, that's not the first question. The first question is really, and I ask the question first to them, okay? So as a former member and everything, so what is really the value of a TAPA membership?
I think first of all, TAPA EMEA is tremendous. But why is it tremendous? So we have 3 pillars. And how it started 25 years ago, it started as a peer-to-peer community. So the first pillar is networking. You know, in the closed and secure TAPA environment, you can discuss all your logistic challenges you have in your companies without that anybody is listening with us. So we can talk about use cases, we can talk about possible solutions, because here is of course a lot of knowledge, but most of the knowledge is with you. And that's the first pillar of TAPA, to share all information to fight against the perpetrators. I think the second pillar is our certification. We're very successful with our standards. So the FSR, the TSR and the PSR. And connected to the certification is the training. We train around 2,400 people per year on our standards. And you see that more and more companies are forced by their contract partners to get certified with TAPA standards. That was the second pillar. I think the third pillar, you just saw a demonstration of that, is our Google of logistics incidents, the TIS. That's really the third pillar, which can be very useful for you. If you combine this all together, then you have the 3 pillars on which TAPA EMEA is built, and not by the board or by the professional team. It's done by the members, and we really mean that. We have a very open voice and a very open heart to our members. And I think what we realize most, compared to other associations, is that we realize that the power is with the members.
So
it's quiet now.
Yeah, that was the icebreaker, okay? So we have companies here, I know, we have Volkswagen, I'm too far away right now, I'm not coming to you, so keep your pulse down. But we have Amazon. So I know that you're also very active. So what do you think, what is the most important thing? Why are you TAPAized?
For us, it's the same as for everyone that was mentioned, right? We have the benchmark, what needs to be done. And we had actually a very recent discussion with our business stakeholders, and they were asking us as security and loss prevention, hey, what can we do, right? Like, how are we going to avoid the loss of several million USD in just a couple of hits? And we are like, why are we inventing something? We have already standards, we have the benchmark. We've been discussing that with you for years. App was with us, right, when we were discussing that. And the business was not really buying into this, you know, because when you discuss with business stakeholders the risk, not everyone hears for it, right? and they are asking, is the benefit really bigger than the pain? And they are really waiting for the big incidents to happen, and only then they are asking you, hey, how can you save us? So for us, it's really crucial that we are member of TAPA, because we have something to refer to, and it really helps us to get the buy-in from the business.
Thank you. And by the way, Amazon is training roughly 400 of their people every year against the standard. Okay? There's a question. That's what I'd like. The next question is for Bjorn, just to let you know. So give you a quick warning already. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, thanks very much. Well, first of all, thanks for a very good day. I think it's been a great day. I'm Andrew Walker. I work for AIG, which is Bjorn's direct competitor. I do exactly what he does. My portfolio is Africa and Middle East and managing marine risk. So my question is, from your map that you had, I can see that you do have a few certificated places in Africa. But I deal with a lot of risk that goes into a lot of sub-Saharan countries, and TAPA's not there. Is there any plans to advance into Africa, and what are the challenges that you might experience?
I would like to hand this question over really to Felipe, but I think Alida can also sing a song on that. But let's start really with Alida from a DHL point of view, and then let's really jump to to Felipe, and I will give you also my view at the end. Okay.
We definitely, all the markings that you saw there, that's definitely DHL Express. We are there. We are expanding every year. We are busy now with some new sites. It is a challenge, and TAPA is really for all other companies with facilities in Africa. I know there is quite some. It is really, if you can get your facilities on that standard, it might not seem much, but if you have that, you won't believe how proud the people are of that certificate in the first place. In the second place, it sets you apart from the rest of the companies. You will have a company with that's absolutely secured, and the next company next to it might not even have a door. So it is important for all of us. Again, it comes down to not only one company that needs to be TAPA certified. Every single company should consider this, even if it is on a level C to start off with, but just that initial step to get some sort of standard in place in Africa.
Yeah, answering your question as well, you mentioned that there are not, we don't have certificates there. I like to add a word, yet. Okay? The point is, yes, we need more recognition. We need more implementation of the standard. Otherwise, I cannot drive 3,000 kilometers until I reach the next location. That's why we are here. That's why we are taking our sleeves up and coming to the field and helping promote. We are contacting the governments, but it's not TAPA by itself and alone that will get the job done. It depends upon each and every one of us in this room to start enforcing in our contact chains. The manufacturers are starting to roll it down, the supply chain, as a mandatory requirement. We ourselves should start by implementing the standards in our facilities, reaching out, saying, hey, I have a contact in Namibia, in Zambia. How can we get recognition and promotion so that we get contacts? And TAPA is open for establishing contacts. You open the door, you point to the direction, hey, I have this country, I have no support there. Please, how can you help me get established with partners that are willing, that are available to implement the standard? This, as I mentioned in my call, and trust me, my colleagues joke with me because they say that I have TAPA running in my veins, but it comes from the heart. It's a group effort. We cannot allow ourselves the risk to be lone wolves. Crime is escalating and is escalating fast. Either we group together, and Africa, it's unexplored. Security-wise, on what concerns logistics crime, Africa is unexplored. We have South Africa, a bit of other information. There's only one way, it's up. But depends on all of us. Either we group together, we get the wolf pack together, or crime will step ahead of us.
Okay, so thank you, first of all, for this one. I would like to say the following also, it's quite important. And we learn, we listen, we need to improve ourselves, and you see now that it's resilience in Africa. If you ask the South African, what is Africa? What is the answer? It's South Africa. If you ask Sweden, what is Scandinavia? He's saying it's Sweden. You know, so that's the reason why, of course, we are now in Johannesburg, but you will see that the next conference will take place somewhere else. Because what we learned is that we really need to involve, you know, representatives, for example, from Mozambique or from the Ivory Coast. Because I had nice chats with the guys, you know, and they said, yeah, but don't always say it's South Africa, you know, it's Africa. And you're right, you know, that's really quite important. So we are on that, we will continue like that. And it's not always easy, you know, because of course it's a cost factor. You know, I'm not saying that 1,000 euro is no money, you know, but of course 1,000 euro in South Africa is, or in Africa is more money than 1,000 euro in UK or in Germany. You know, I can drink 5 Long Island iced tea here for the cost I cannot even buy one in Germany. You know, and that's the point, and that's very easy. You know, that's another explanation on this one. Okay, let me give you one more question already now to Bjorn, for example. So from an insurance point of view, you know, it's very important, you know, because you are heavily engaged in TAPA for years already, but now you're representing an insurance company. So do you already see, you know, a kind of an impact or acceptance on security programs like TAPA within the insurance world?
Yes and no. We still have a lot of customers that don't know about supply chain security, and looking at the loss ratio, they better should. The ones that have accepted it, as you mentioned, it's like going to the gym. The moment you start practicing, it works. And then you see the benefits. And that's also what is convincing for the customers if they start with the worst places they have issues with, and then they see that it's working, and then they roll it out also in the rest of the world. But we still have companies that have massive global supply chains. They're multi-million-dollar companies. I don't know how many people you told them about TAPA. They what? And they produce very theft-sensitive goods, and they have no clue. So we still have something to do.
Perfect. Absolutely. Do we have any further questions from the audience? Remember, I'm coming. Come on, you should have, there, see, that's what I mean, you know. Perfect. I'm there. You have a question.
Okay. Afternoon. Okay, I'm from the pharmaceutical company space. I just want to check in a case where you want to do independent verification as to whether the LSP is TAPA certified. Do you have that platform or dashboard for that? Because sometimes during the procurement process, you want to do things independently without the LSP. Do you have that platform where you can go in? Say suppose you are checking, I'll just give example with DSV or DHL that their certification is up to date.
Yeah, the TIS tool shows exactly that. In the TIS tool, when you go to locations, Thornton was showing, it's showing the active locations. So you go to FSR sites, it shows you the sites that are currently with active certifications. If a certification expires, it goes out of the map. So the first location to go, if you want to check if a company is effectively certified or not, go into the website, TIS tool, search for the company, you have it there. If you want to know if a company is a member, even if of TAPA or not, you go into the website, members list, you have all the information there of all the companies that are members of TAPA. full transparency, you can check everything, and you have the real information.
Okay, on top of that, just to let you know, and if you were not a kind of a chosen candidate on that, you have no clue that this program is existing. We have a shadow audit program. So we as TAPA, we pick every year 20 certifications randomly, and we say we check you without any notice. So which means, for example, we say, here's a certificate which is from DHL. And then we say, okay, we will check the certificate and the location that is really fulfilling all the requirements. So we contact DHL, we say, we are coming to your premises next week, we want to see if everything is still there. So we have a shadow audit program, which is really checking at least 20 sites every year. Okay, that's really quite important. That's a kind of a quality program we are running. Okay, I have now one question, maybe it's either to Nico or up, because we heard already that there are, there's a EMEA-wide membership, there's now a kind of a regional African membership, country membership. Is there a difference, from a benefit point of view, or so what is it?
Yeah, we actually decided on this last year, this time with the conference, that there's a need for a different type of membership that makes it a bit cheaper for people to afford. So the African membership was created, and that's capped at 18,000 Rand, 1,000 euro, but capped at 18,000 Rand because our Rand and the euro is not always friendly with each other. And your benefits stays basically exactly the same. You just will not have access to the conferences in Amsterdam, for instance. But your benefits stays exactly the same. You're going to have access to the TIS system, and you can have access to all the information exactly the same as what you would pay for the full membership. That's basically, it's the same. It's just cheaper. So go for it.
Some adjusting information there, because last year, as said, we listened very carefully to the members. So one of the things we did connected to the membership for South Africa, or for the African region, is that we opened a PTI Limited here in South Africa. That means if you get an invoice from TAPA EMEA, it will be an invoice in rand, so that you're not confronted with the conversion rate. You're not confronted with any cost, so you will pay in your local currency and in your local conversion. And as Nico rightly said, so the membership is the same as the other membership, with the only exemption in the first pillar, in the networking. So you have access to the regional conferences in Africa, but you don't have access to the main conference in Amsterdam, not in that membership. But of course, for a special price, you're always welcome to join Amsterdam. And then all the remaining two pillars, so the certification and the standards, the same. And the only difference there is that you can train 2 people for 3 trainings per year instead of 3. And then, of course, access to TIS, which is very important to check where your peers in Africa are and how they are certified. So actually it's, 50% of the cost, but it will give you nearly 95% of the membership compared to the TAPA EMEA membership.
Okay, any questions from, there we have one, perfect.
I will go back to what was mentioned, right? We can't fight this alone. And I'm curious, in Africa, how is TAPA's cooperation with law enforcement or governmental bodies? I will tell you, my knowledge is limited to Europe. I'm guilty, I'm only learning, right? Which is why I'm here. But in Europe, if we go and we report to the police, hey, we lost track full of iPhones, for them it's just a couple of phones, right? And they have resources that are limited, and they need to focus actually on trafficking or higher severity cases, which I believe might be the case in Africa, based on what we saw here, right?
Yeah, if you say Africa, I can only speak for South Africa at this stage. I think maybe Alida can just add later on. She's got a bit of a footprint up in Africa in itself, but in South Africa, as you heard from all the speakers today, they're now more and more starting to draw in those state entities, the police and the special units and things like that. They're starting to communicate better with them. It's not great at the moment, I must be honest, When I'm, for instance, busy with the investigation, I have to do most of the work for the detective. They are busy training detectives, actually. The private sector are training detectives, police detectives, to be able to do their jobs better. So I'm just seeing an improvement. I can just see improvement if this continues, the collaboration between the private sector and state entities. If that continues, there can only be an improvement, yeah. Maybe, Alida, if you want to just touch on the rest of Africa. I'm not too familiar with that, I'm sorry.
Very difficult in Africa, yeah. The police is, the risk in Africa is much different than what you see in Europe and in South Africa for that matter. So in Africa you will have more unrest. So you will have police officers that's not necessarily investigators. They're more standing there with AK-47s. So if you need help with investigations and thefts, it is really a struggle to get that assistance. But the local, our local staff, they've got good relationships generally with the local law enforcement officers. So there is a workaround on that side of it.
Okay, there's another question. Very good.
They're warming up.
I'm coming. Let me add one more comment to this one, okay? We need you. We need the members. We need the brands. We need the Volkswagens, the Amazons. You need to connect us to the police. We do the rest. That's really quite important. That's the reason why Bjorn and the others are always saying we do everything for the members, from the members. But when you can connect us to the right people in the police, we follow up, 100%. So we do all the work, you know. But it's always a door opener, you know, and you can trust me, you know, it's a door opener when a brand like Volkswagen or Amazon or whomever is coming, and it's really like this. Okay, next one.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So my name is Eugene. I'm from Philip Morris International. As you would know, Philip Morris, if some of you know that 48 Philip Morris security professionals have been trained. We just started now in South Africa, so we'll talk after 12 months and see how that goes when we start our journey. But I wanted to make a comment on law enforcement, you know, to build on what Nico was saying. Look, we got a good cooperation with law enforcement. So maybe you don't know, I'll mention it here. So I co-chair a forum for Hartong with two brigadiers, Brigadier Gopano and Brigadier Nama, right, for Hartong. And since that sort of, partnership started, we've seen a decline. You saw a decline in the last quarter. But there is a good cooperation. Not only is the police on there, it is all different departments. The traffic law enforcement are on there. Rapid response is on there. National Prosecuting Authority is on there, you know, for prosecution of cases. We get updates on cases, hotspots. What's happening now? Felipe knows, he's on the forum. So again, we'll partner with TAPA and bring the knowledge across, but we have a fantastic relationship. You know, we are formulating these relationships in other problematic provinces at the moment, such as KZN and Eastern Cape is problematic at this point in time in Mpumalanga. But we more than welcome to partner with TAPA. I've seen a lot. It's the first time I'm here to see this, so I'm glad I've seen a lot, and I will open up dialogue with you. Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Any questions from you, Felipe, to the four? Oh man, that's too easy. Any question? You're Volkswagen. Come on, that's exactly what we need. Yeah. Perfect. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Kelly from Volkswagen. Just to follow on, we also really do have good relations with our local police. We have detectives that are assigned to only our cases, and that really helps. And if there's any sort of incidents, they'd normally give us a heads up to say, listen, we found your parts here, you need to come and identify and so on. So it's always really good to touch base with the local people. We're also on the Nelson Mandela Bay National Security Council, so they'll also normally feed information through to us. My question is actually to you, is just with the advent of AI and so on, where do you predict this industry, or what disruptors do you predict for this environment in the next 3 to 5 years? Thanks.
You can ask me what I predict for tomorrow. No. I don't have that. I will have it later today. I think, you know, so first of all, it's very difficult, you know, and of course I love modern technology. And we're already using, as I said, some AI technology. Volkswagen is using it, Amazon is using it like crazy, you know, but especially if you look at predictive analytics, from my point of view, you know, the world is changing so fast, technology is changing so fast, risk is changing so fast. You know, if you talk to some experts, you know, they will tell you that Trump will become the next president. You know, so what is AI saying? I strongly believe if you ask AI today, they will say the same, because the second component or the second competitor now just said, no, okay, I will not compete against Mr. Trump. You know, I think what is important for us is that we look really at the data we have. Okay, and we need you, again, as I said. So Diana, for example, is giving us a lot of data. But I know that Diana is not giving us all data, you know, and I know it's very difficult in a company like Volkswagen. It's very difficult in a company like PMI. And it's very difficult in a company like, you know, Amazon, you know, to get all the data. It's not easy, because your supply chain is so complex in some cases that it's really also difficult for you. But what's important for us, that you connect us to the right people, because we can follow up. We have special reports, we have special protocols. By the way, access for police officers to TIS is free. We give free access to all law enforcement agencies in the world to the TIS tool. So they pay nothing. You know, we give training free to police officers. Why? Because it's a win-win situation. You know, and let's be very open and honest, when a company is already saying, oh, 1,000 euro, you know, for the police, it's even more difficult, you know, to get 1,000 euro. For universities, for example, we work together with universities. We have special programs for universities. And we say, if you have a student, you know, if the student is doing, for example, a thesis, whatever, you know, he's got access or she is getting access to the tool for free. We give them the training. The only thing what we want is want a copy, you know, to understand what is the outcome. And we work very close with a lot of universities, you know, like German universities, Switzerland, you know, like in Dublin, you know, like in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Sweden, and so on. So, because what is the most important thing? As more data we get, as better we are. You know, and that's really quite important, okay? Do you have any questions to the panel? Because the bar is already shouting very loud. Oh, perfect, I love that. There's a question.
Afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is Xoliswa from Maersk. I know we are registered with TAPA globally, but I'm very much interested in the TIS tool from a South African point of view. How can we get access to it? Just to create awareness, because we also have fleet that is moving all over Durban, Cape Town, and all of that. So how can my security guy get access to it? Because I know globally we are registered, but from a South African point of view, we're just starting with that process.
He's your man. Yeah, but it depends, you know, I must say. So we know that you have a Europe, Middle East, and African membership, as you said quite correctly. Leonie, for example, is one of your reps. We need to check in the system, because we can also add you as a kind of an employee. You know, then you don't have all the benefits, but you have some benefits. You know, but let's follow up on this one, because it's very specific questions. What is very important, of course, we nearly never say no to you, okay? When you are a member and you say, yeah, but Thorsten, we have 4 representatives, or you go to UP and you say, hey, UP, we have 4 representatives. But this representative really is only interested in to have a TIS access. So just to give you one advice, create a shared account. That's how easy it is. And you can give TIS access to 100 of your people. And call it, you know, TIS at whatever, Volkswagen.de. You know, it's a shared email account. We don't care. You know, because for us it's important that you share the message. For us it's important that we have more people using it. When we talk about training, when we talk about coming to a conference, it's a different story. It's linked to a person, it's linked to an individual. So just to let you know, police forces, normally they never use their own account, they use a police account. And they call it, for example, data@policehamburg.de. And of course it's more than one police officer using it. It's very easy. Okay? If we have no other questions, I would like to say first a special thanks to the panel. Thanks to all of you. I wish you, you know, we can start very soon. So I don't want to say too many things. The only thing what I would like to say to all of you is thanks. Thanks, thanks, thanks. It's a long day, as I said, you know. I hope you know now what TAPA really means. You know, I hope you understand why we call it TAPAized. Okay, and I'm saying one more thing which is quite important. You know, how can you not be TAPAized? You know, you heard it from TAPA members, you know, and I'm not joking, you know, every hour you spend in TAPA will give you 2 hours work for your daily work because you are relying on a network. Guys, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's at least one person in this room who knows your answer. At least. And the good news on TAPA is, you know, this is not a competition. We talk about security. You're not discussing products. You're not discussing pricing. You're not discussing something specific. You are discussing what you face every day. So that's enough. That's it. I wish you a great rest of the day. The drinks are outside. We have food there. So let's really enjoy life. Let's have drinks. Let's have food. And let's really talk about anything except TAPA. Okay? Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.